Welcome back to my channel. Celeb Buzz, please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Troy Donahue tells about the two gay actors from old Hollywood that he secretly dated. Troy Donahue was born as Merle Johnson Jr. on January 27th, 1936 in New York City. He grew up in a rich family. His dad worked as a big company boss, and his mom was an actress who performed on stage. Donahue loved acting and performing from when he was young. He went to Columbia University to study journalism, but soon he wanted to go to Hollywood to become a movie star. Donahue got his big break in the late 1950s when Warner Brothers Movie Company signed him. They gave him the stage name Troy Donahue, and soon this name was everywhere on movie posters and teen magazines across America. His first big movie role was in A Summer Place in 1959, where he acted with Sandra Dee in a dramatic story about young love and family problems. The movie was a huge hit, and Donahue's dreamy, gentle personality as the sweet, romantic guy made him instantly popular with fans. His character's love story with Dee's character, happening while parents didn't approve and emotions ran high, really connected with young movie watchers. The theme song from the movie became as famous as Donahue himself. During the early 1968ths, Donahue's fame kept growing bigger. He appeared in many successful movies like Parish in 1961, Susan Slade in 1961, Rome Adventure in 1962, and Palm Springs Weekend in 1963. These movies usually had him playing the good, quiet, romantic guy who was sometimes troubled but always attractive. His movie personality matched perfectly with what people thought the perfect young man should be like during the hopeful Kennedy time before the Vietnam War. When he was most famous, Donahue got more fan mail than almost any other actor at Warner Brothers, and he was often featured in Photoplay, Teen Beat, and other fan magazines that helped make him a pop culture star. But fame became hard to keep as culture changed in the late 1960s when movies became more serious and gritty. Donahue's clean, good guy image started to feel old-fashioned. Hollywood began wanting a new type of anti-hero and more complex, troubled characters that didn't fit with Donahue's established screen image. Movie offers slowed down and his popularity began to fade. He struggled to change himself both professionally and personally during a time when the entertainment industry was going through massive changes. The pressure of being famous combined with personal problems led to both his career and his health getting worse. Behind all the glamour, Donahue faced serious personal demons. He battled alcoholism and money problems during much of the 1970s. And there were times when he was homeless and living in his car, which was a sad reminder of how quickly fame can disappear. But through it all, he stayed honest about his struggles, eventually getting sober and turning his life around. Donahue started going to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and found a new sense of purpose and peace. His honesty about his journey earned him respect and admiration, especially from fans who had once looked up to him as a teen heartthrob and now saw him as a survivor. In his later years, Donahue experienced a small career comeback. He appeared as a guest on TV shows like The Love Boat, Chips, and even had a funny cameo in Cry Baby in 1990, John Waters' funny tribute to the 1950s. These appearances let Donahue embrace his past with humor and dignity. He also remained a popular guest at nostalgia conventions where he met generations of fans, many of whom shared stories of how his movies had touched their lives. His lasting charm, self-making fun wit, and humility when facing hard times only added to his legacy as not just a movie idol, but as a genuinely nice human being. Troy Donahue, one of the most famous movie idols of the late 1950s and early 1960s, lived a life that was as complicated off-screen as it was glamorous on-screen. Known for his striking good looks and intense presence in romantic dramas, Donahue's personal life included 4 marriages and several important relationships, each showing a different part of his wild journey through fame, addiction, recovery, and reinvention. His first and most publicized marriage was to actress Suzanne Pleshette, best known for her later work on TV, including her role on The Bob Newhart Show. The two rising stars met while working together on the 1964 film Rome Adventure, and their chemistry was obvious both on and off the screen. Their quick romance led to marriage in January 1964, but the union was short-lived. Within just 9 months, the couple divorced, saying they had differences they couldn't work out. Despite how brief their marriage was, their relationship got a lot of media attention at the time and remains one of the more talked about parts of Donahue's private life. It is widely thought that the pressures of Hollywood career goals and Donahue's growing personal struggles helped cause the breakdown of the relationship. Before marrying Plachette, Donahue had been involved with Lily Cardell, a Swedish-American actress and model. Their relationship ended in scandal when Cardell filed a lawsuit against Donahue, claiming he had physically hurt her during their engagement. She sued him for damages which made headlines and hurt the clean-cut image that studios had carefully built for Donahue. The incident, while not resulting in criminal charges, added fuel to rumors about Donahue's increasing instability and struggles with anger and alcohol, which would continue to haunt him for years. Donahue's second attempt at marriage came on October 21st, 1966, when he married actress Valerie Allen, who had appeared in various TV and film roles throughout the 1960s. At first, the marriage seemed to represent a fresh start for Donahue, who was trying to make his personal life stable and get his professional life back on track. However, behind closed doors, tensions quickly got worse. In 1968, just 2 years after their wedding, Allen filed for divorce, saying cruelty was the main reason. While specifics were not made public, the divorce proceedings suggested a troubled home environment, possibly made worse by Donahue's continued battles with addiction and unpredictable behavior during this time. His third marriage was to Alma Sharp, a woman outside the entertainment industry who worked as an executive secretary. Their union began on November 15th, 1969, a time when Donahue was already starting to step back from the spotlight, having seen his star fade by the early 1000s. 970. Sharp was described as someone who offered Donahue a sense of normal life and grounding, something he desperately needed amid his fading fame and increasing personal problems. Unfortunately, even this relatively private and grounded relationship could not survive the pressures they faced. The marriage lasted 3 years, ending in divorce in 1972. Friends noted that Donahue's ongoing substance abuse issues and difficulty adapting to life outside of Hollywood's spotlight likely played a big role in the end of their marriage. Donahue's fourth and final marriage was to Vicki Taylor, and it lasted from 1979 to 1981. By this time, Donahue had become somewhat of a person who stayed away from others, making only occasional appearances in film and TV. While not much is publicly known about Taylor or the details of their relationship, it is understood that their marriage, like his previous ones, was troubled by instability and emotional distance. Their time together was brief, and they divorced after 2 years. The repeated pattern of short-lived marriages and emotional trouble became a trademark of Donahue's troubled personal life. In his later years, after decades of struggling with alcohol, financial hardship, and fading fame, Donahue found what many believed to be a more stable and loving relationship with Jing Cao, a Chinese-American mezzo-soprano opera singer known for her commanding stage presence and rich voice. The relationship, though not officially made into marriage, was considered deeply meaningful to Donahue. Those close to him said that Hye-jin brought peace, love, and a sense of companionship to Donahue's final chapter. Their connection appeared to be different from the chaos of his earlier relationships, offering him supportive presence as he faced declining health and the emotional leftover effects of a turbulent past. Donahue also had a son named Sean, whom he fathered with a woman he had a brief relationship with in 1969. For many years, Donahue was unaware of Sean's existence. It wasn't until later in life, when Sean was already an adult, that Donahue learned he was the father and met his son. The reunion reportedly had a big emotional impact on the actor, who had long expressed regret over many aspects of his personal life. Connecting with Sean gave him a sense of legacy and a chance to make things right, even if it was late, for a lifetime of personal mistakes and missed opportunities. In the final years of his life, Troy Donahue, once a golden-haired heartthrob of 1950s and 1960s movies, began to open up about deeply personal chapters of his past that had remained hidden during his career peak. While Donahue had always been connected with the wholesome, clean-cut, romantic roles that represented teen idols of the era, there was an inner complexity and duality in his private life that never reached the public eye until much later. Among the most shocking revelations was his confession that he had been romantically involved with several gay actors of old Hollywood. Relationships kept entirely secret due to the suffocating atmosphere of the era and the career-ending consequences that could arise from being outed. In rare and quiet interviews conducted in the 1990s, as Hollywood began to deal with its history of silence around LGBTQ+ identity, Donahue openly admitted that he had in fact dated men during his youth, some of whom were major stars with massive fan followings. was the 50S. You could lose everything, he reportedly said. Studios controlled your image. They would destroy you if you were found out. One name that Donahue allegedly mentioned with both admiration and sadness was Anthony Perkins, the mysterious star best known for his chilling portrayal of Norman Bates in Psycho. According to Donahue, his relationship with Perkins was both passionate and full of secrecy. The two met at a Hollywood party in the late 1000s, 950s, when both were rising stars in the industry. Donahue was the handsome beach blonde being prepared by Warner Brothers as a movie idol, while Perkins was already earning praise for his brooding intensity and sensitive portrayals. Their chemistry was instant, but they were both very aware of the limitations imposed by their studio contracts and public persona. We could never go out in public together. We had to pretend, always pretend, Donahue is quoted as saying. We'd meet at the homes of trusted friends or drive out to the coast late at night and just sit in the car talking or listening to the waves. There was a gentleness to him. He understood what it was to live behind a mask. Donahue also hinted at a complicated relationship with Rock Hudson, the square-jawed idol who was at the time the very embodiment of rugged heterosexual masculinity on screen. While Donahue never confirmed a long-term relationship with Hudson, he did recall moments of electric tension and mutual understanding. Rock had it harder than most of us, Donahue said. He was bigger than life. If he slipped up, the whole house of cards would fall. But there were times, just quiet, fleeting times, where we shared something no one else could see. We were men who were supposed to be everything America dreamed of, and we were so afraid of losing it all. These revelations were not made for shock value. Rather, they were an attempt by Donahue, whose later life was marked by struggle, reflection, and recovery, to reclaim a part of himself that had been buried for decades. His openness provided a rare, touching glimpse into the private lives of Hollywood's closeted actors. Men who were forced to sacrifice their authenticity for the sake of maintaining an image the studios and the public demanded. Donahue's stories are not only a testament to the deeply human need for connection, but also an accusation of a system that punished vulnerability and difference. By naming names like Anthony Perkins and Rock Hudson, figures who themselves wrestled privately with their identities, Donahue was not betraying a trust, but rather honoring the truth of a generation that had been denied the freedom to live openly. His confessions serve as a bridge between the glamour of Hollywood's golden age and the long overdue reckoning with its culture of silence. On August 30th, 2001, Troy Donahue, the once golden boy of 1950S and 1960S Hollywood, suffered a massive heart attack that would ultimately mark the beginning of the end of his life. The incident occurred while he was at his apartment in Santa Monica, California, a coastal city he had long called home. Despite his well-documented struggles with substance abuse earlier in life, Donahue had been living quietly and soberly for several years by this time, having committed himself to recovery and a more thoughtful lifestyle. Those close to him described him as being in relatively good spirits and optimistic about future acting projects, even if his health had shown signs of decline in recent months. Upon suffering the heart attack, Donahue was rushed to St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, a well-regarded facility known for treating numerous celebrities and prominent figures in the entertainment industry. Once admitted, he was immediately evaluated by a team of heart specialists. His condition was deemed critical, prompting the decision to perform an emergency angioplasty, a procedure in which blocked arteries are opened to restore normal blood flow to the heart. The procedure itself was considered a success at first, and his doctors were cautiously hopeful. Friends and family were notified, and many believed he had overcome the worst. However, only hours after the angioplasty, Donahue suffered a devastating second heart attack. This second heart event significantly worsened his condition, and doctors made the urgent decision to conduct a coronary artery bypass surgery, a more invasive and complex procedure aimed at rerouting blood flow around clogged arteries. The surgery was performed on September 1st, just 2 days after the initial heart attack. Despite the best efforts of the skilled surgical team, Donahue's body was too weakened to recover from the combined strain of the two heart attacks and the subsequent surgery. On September 2nd, 2001, Troy Donahue passed away at the age of 65. Surrounded by loved ones who had gathered at the hospital, his death marked the end of a turbulent yet fascinating journey through fame, addiction, reinvention, and spiritual searching. Though his star had dimmed from the dazzling heights of his early career when he was considered one of Hollywood's most handsome and bankable leading men, his legacy as a cultural icon of a bygone era endured. The outpouring of condolences from fans and colleagues alike reflected the affection many still held for the blonde-haired, blue-eyed actor, who once epitomized youthful innocence and romantic idealism on the silver screen.